here in Texas. We've got 5.3 million students, which is 1 out of every 10 public school students in America. We've got 350,000 teachers. We've got about 8,500 schools and about 1,200 districts. We're a majority minority state. Over half of our students are low income. One of the biggest challenges we face as a state is how are we attracting the best and the brightest to teach? How are we preparing them and how are we supporting them in the classroom? The title I'm trying to live up to right now is Deputy Commissioner at Texas Education Agency, and I've been in the role for 2.5 years. My role has included a lot of travel, which is a great thing. The commissioner said that I would get a chance to see the whole state. I didn't know it would be every week. To get across a state this diverse, this big, and to get opportunities to go into schools and hear people share their perspective, share their experience has been a great learning experience for me. Right now in my role, I'm taking a lot of strategies out of the Teach America playbook. One of those strategies is positioning the profession of teaching as entrepreneurial, as a huge opportunity to have a massive impact on the current generation, future generations, and as one of the biggest challenges you can tackle and the civil rights issues of our time, that educational equity. One of the first regions Teach America came to in Texas was Houston. It is just so massive. It's very densely populated, and Teach America's been there going on 30 years.
I grew up as a child of immigrants. My parents taught us that education is our ticket to freedom. When I was a senior in high school, I walked into the career office and I saw the Teach for America vision. One day, all children in this nation will have the opportunity to attain an excellent education, and I knew I had to do it. I started teaching for Teach for America in Houston in 1998. And in my first month of teaching, I went to visit one of the wealthiest middle schools in Houston. I realized that my students were just as smart and just as talented as all of these students in this wealthy school, but they lacked the opportunity. And so for the last 20 years, I've been working to change that opportunity gap for our students. KIPP stands for the Knowledge is Power program. KIPP's mission is to provide our kids with the academic and character skills to be able to thrive in college and lead lives of choice and make change in the world.
I was a 2008 Corps member placed here in Houston, the Houston Independent School District. I was a 5th grade bilingual teacher before starting a program called Emerge and then transitioning into central administration, and I currently serve as the district's Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer. My grandfather was from Honduras and actually was the first person from that country to go off to Yale. He used his education career to work for the United Nations and to really dedicate his life to helping underserved communities. That played a big role in my belief in higher education in terms of opening doors and expanding equity. Emerge is a college readiness and college access program that connects high-achieving, low-income students with the nation's top colleges and universities and helps make sure that kids are not just getting into and attending top colleges, but are persisting, graduating, and then, more importantly, being positioned for influence in their communities after they do so.
My parents are immigrants from Mexico and they don't speak English. Emerge was the first group of people that taught me that I had potential. They saw something in me and they knew that, hey, you have good grades, you're doing well in school, you can do so much more. And I ended up going to Smith College. I still remember the day I was accepted. I was so nervous, but when I opened the email, I just burst into tears. I went straight to my mom and was like, "Mommy, we're doing it. I'm going," and she was just in disbelief. Now I am a Corps member, 2018 Corps member. I am currently teaching at Mitchell Elementary, 3rd grade reading and writing.
I think the moment that I realized what an incredible network TFA had established of people who are really driven by a desire for educational equity was when I formed Emerge. The conduit through which we were able to expand Emerge was actually Corps members at other schools. Had it not been for that network, Emerge certainly would not be where it is today. We serve approximately 215,000 students across 285 schools. Our impact is very real both for students and for the community here in the Houston region. Houston is the most diverse city in America and is actually what America is going to look like in a few decades. And so I think the work that we're doing here is even more relevant because the strategies and the lessons learned are going to be increasingly relevant to all cities.
Another region Teach America went to was the Rio Grande Valley, and that is a unique and inspiring part of the state, very remote.
The Rio Grande Valley is lots of green, lots of culture, lots of bright colored houses, a lot of families. I found a lot of family outings. It's what you would think Mexico would look like, but in Texas.
One of the biggest challenges that we face here in the Rio Grande Valley is that over 90% of our population is low income.
My parents were both migrant workers on the strawberry fields. From someone who understands the children that come from Mexico, an American high school diploma is the ticket to college, was the ticket to money, which is the ticket to success.
When I got to Teach for America, that was the first time I realized that there really were two different Americas. There was an America where you went to public schools or private schools and you were challenged and you were pushed and you were encouraged and you were motivated. And then there was this other set of schools that was serving low-income children, and the expectations often were minimal. The quality and the qualifications and the preparation of those teachers was often minimal. That was kind of a wake-up call for me. What I really began to see is that the number one factor that was going to make the difference in the life of a student was the quality of the teacher. And that if you could string together 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive years where low-income kids had really exceptional teachers, that would put them on a whole different trajectory for success.
Our TFA teachers were usually our AP teachers. They were usually our teachers that assigned the homework. They were the teachers that made us do the projects, that didn't take no for an answer, handled the class very well.
When I launched IDEA in 2000 with my colleague Joanne Gama, we had 150 students on the second floor of the First Baptist Church in downtown Donna, Texas. Today, that one school has turned into 79 schools. Those 150 students are now 45,000 students across the Rio Grande Valley, but also 22 schools in San Antonio and a dozen schools in Austin and schools in El Paso. We are being propelled forward because of the power of the alumni within Teach for America.
I'm gonna fight until all our children have access to that equal education. I tell my kids, you will have it. And they're like, no, sir, we're not gonna have it because we're from Roma. We're gonna have it because we're from Roma.
The Rio Grande Valley is home to the first and third poorest counties in the United States in terms of per capita wealth. I'm very convinced that if we can figure out how to solve the problems facing schools here, we can solve problems facing schools anywhere in the United States.
Dallas ISD has really opened itself up to the Teach for America presence in key positions such as human resources or school leadership.
I'm a school board member on the Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees, and I am a 2009 Teach for America Charter Corps member for the Dallas-Fort Worth region. The Dallas-Fort Worth region is serving nearly 400,000 students with tens of thousands of employees and an extremely diverse set of students and a diverse set of challenges. Perhaps the biggest one is childhood poverty, exacerbated by a lack of early childhood education opportunities or our inability to pay teachers the way they need to be paid.
I served in the greatest core region, which is DFW, and I served specifically in Oak Cliff, where I'm from, at W.W. Bushman Elementary School, core year 2014, and I taught 4th grade. I am the founder and executive director of For Oak Cliff, community nonprofit based here in the heart of Dallas. For Oak Cliff has 3 pillars to our work: education, advocacy, and community building. I read the article titled "The Cradle to Prison Pipeline" that was published by Stanford Children. That article had the amount of inmates broken down in the city of Dallas per zip code compared to the amount of college-ready graduates. And I saw an Oak Cliff zip code at the top with 681 inmates and only 2% college-ready graduates. At that moment, I knew that it was a major issue, so I began to dig deeper into education and start figuring out, like, what is the problem? This organization, For Oak Cliff, that has affected thousands of people within our community doesn't exist without my time in the classroom.
I'm a 2013 Teach for America DFW alum. I taught 5th grade in Fort Worth, Texas, and now I'm an impact manager at Education Opens Doors. The incredible thing about the Teach for America network is that although we recognize from our classroom experience that there are several societal problems which are inhibiting students' access to opportunities, our mindsets as a community ensure that we also recognize that there are solutions. Jada Batchelder recognized a problem in her community where she worked and banded together a group of alumni to create a solution to ensure that all students have access to opportunity. Education Opens Doors is currently supporting 11,700 students. Since 2012, we've supported 44,000 students and nearly 800 teachers. Our students are often in schools where a guidance counselor might have less than 40 minutes over the course of 4 years to speak to a student about their options after high school. At Education Opens Doors, we make sure that our students have that information prior to even getting to high school so that they're able to make those personal choices.
Inherent to Teach for America's mission is this ethos of idealism, that you made a difference in the lives of others, and to work to pursue those ideals and trying to move forward the goal of a better education for all students.
San Antonio, Teach for America has been very impressive. I've met a lot of core members and alums who are from that area and joined to make an impact in their community, and I've seen that as a growing trend in the organization, which is very inspiring.
The South Side of San Antonio is at the core community, it's family. You don't just take care of your own family, you don't just worry about your own kids, but you worry about your kids' friends and the school that they go to.
¿Y cómo haces la X? También una X y la O. La O. Oh, tu nombre tiene un acento. Qué bonito.
I'm the principal at Bonham Academy, and I was a 2010 San Antonio Charter Corps member. So my parents actually immigrated here from Mexico. My mom crossed the border when she was pregnant with me and made sure that I was born in America. I was a really quiet kid growing up. My whole experience was Spanish. I went into an education system, unfortunately, in California that didn't really appreciate bilingual education. If you would have told me when I first joined Teach for America that one day I would be a school leader, I would have never believed you.
I am a 2017 San Antonio Corps member. I was born and raised on the south side of San Antonio, and now I teach at Gravener Elementary. My grandparents came here. Being able to teach at the school that generations of my family came to has been a neat experience.
Take a look at your situations. Understanding what the situation is going to help you understand whether you need to add or subtract.
At Bonham, we serve almost 600 students across the kindergarten through 8th grade continuum. If our kids have the opportunity to go to college, that we basically get to impact them for over half of their educational career. It's such a tremendous responsibility, but it's also something that gives us so much hope. Every single day that I walk the halls and I see those kindergartners waving to me, I just see the immense potential that our kids have to be the leaders that we need them to be in the world that we live in today.
I remember always feeling in a room full of people who were very capable that at some point they were going to realize that I didn't belong there. I think that probably wouldn't have been as deep. If we had a woman president, if we had more women on the Supreme Court, or just women in leadership positions.
Okay. All right, girls, here's what I want you to do. Delilah, go ahead and you're gonna be our line leader, okay? So if you can start the line right there and show us how to stand a straight line because you're leading the line, okay? So you can start it right there.
And so now, in my position as a teacher, I felt like I had this really great opportunity to be able to expose our young girls to women leaders in our community and what can be accomplished when we come together. She really was started because of that.
So it is an honor for She Is to present to you our first guest speaker of the year.
I'm really excited to be here with all of you
you today.
She Is Club is a perfect opportunity to talk to girls about how to deal with dilemmas that life brings you, how to deal with emotions, how to communicate with other people.
Hopefully through that, our girls can see that you can't do it alone. You have to use each other, use your network, use your resources to make this collective impact.
What Teach for America has done over the past 25 years is they've just created this leadership culture where you're just so motivated to want to do more because you're seeing what everybody else is doing. You're seeing the different ways that they're attacking very challenging problems and overcoming those challenges.
So many of the large charter management organizations, so many of the now associate superintendents in large district systems, board members on school boards are Teach for America alumni, continuing to have an impact.
I've got Teach for America people who are leaving Idea Public Schools and they're planting the seeds of this next generation of organizations that I think are going to help us solve the challenge of education reform in the United States and accelerate change at a rate that is needed.
When I sort of take my experience here in San Antonio and I look at it both sort of statewide and also nationally, there are people all across the state of Texas that I really respect and admire, who I knew when I was a core member, when I worked on staff.
Whether I'm in the classroom or running for office one day, my fight is always going to be for equity. And I'm always going to tie it back to my experiences in the classroom because of Teach for America.